Hello? Okay, so I'm a little bit bummed right now because I just filmed a whole 30-minute video and it didn't get recorded for some reason. I think it's probably a sign from God to not upload that last version because I was really juiced up on coffee and I was being really, really sporadic. So maybe that was to my detriment. Let's hope. This video is about journaling. Now let's get a few things out of the way. I'm doing my hair like this to get more viewership because it's like, what the heck is wrong with this girl's hair? Why is she talking? Let's watch the video. Messy bed, inhaler, book, I'm inverted. Water bottle, tissue box. I have extreme allergies, so if I sound like a mouth breather, that's why. It just so happens that every single time I try to record any sort of speaking video, I have severe allergies. Well, that's probably because I do have severe allergies. Anyway, I wanted to talk about why you should be journaling in 2026. Now, maybe you are the person that has like 6 journals that they've kept over the years, and you write a few pages in each of them like the first time you get them, but then you're afraid to be messy and you're afraid to mess them up because they're pretty, and you just have them collecting dust, and you've probably had some since you were like 12 that you just never finish. Now, I used to be that person too. I think I've been keeping a journal since I was about 15, and I don't know how people go without. This is where I dump my problems. This is where I work through things. This is where I gain clarity and I write my visions down. This is where everything happens for me. This is my best friend. Where is she? She's under this computer. Oh, the obvious eyesore. This is the bed I'm going to put up in my room because it's blue, as you can see. So it's kind of cold in here because it's kind of a small room and I need to warm the place up. So we're doing this lovely rattan bed. Also, not the eyesore, but the obvious elephant in the room are my super cool nails. I'm obsessed with them. Okay? Okay. Now that we got that out of the way. Journaling has definitely changed my life, and I think it is important for everyone to journal. It is so important to carry a history of your life. I think that sometimes us as humans, we can fall into this difficulty of feeling like maybe unseen or unheard, or just, like witnessing life is important. It's why relationships are important, partners are important, and a journal is important because this is a witness to your life. This is something you can always look back on. This is something you will have and hold, and you can give to your children, and they will have a piece of you, the most deepest part of you that you could ever pass on, your thoughts. And maybe you don't want to pass that on, and that's totally okay. But it's important to carry your history with you and to write it down as it happens and to see your point of view and your evolution and how you change. And journaling actually, I think, is a key to change because when you keep a journal long enough, you are able to start to observe patterns, things you do, ways you react to things, things that upset you, things that anger you. And writing about things that anger you, I think, can lead you to things that you're passionate about and things that bother you so much that you need to make a change in this world, and that can lead to a fulfilling life. And etc. Sorry, etc. I don't need to shorten it because I'm not typing. I think it's important to have your history to be able to reflect on it and to be able to change, because the first step to change is recognizing your problem or whatever, right? Recognizing you have a problem. We're in AA, I guess. No, I'm just kidding. But we all have problems, and we all have maybe not the best patterns that you've learned growing up. And I think it's important to see those patterns and start to make a change. And I think that's the best way. One of the best ways to do so is to keep track of where you're at and how you process things. And there's a lot of fulfillment that can come from keeping a journal over the years. If you write truthfully and honestly, which I encourage you to do, you are able to just see like prayers answered, dreams fulfilled, even on the smallest scale, which leads to gratitude, and gratitude leads to a good life. And I think gratitude is really important, and it's inspiring and invigorating and builds our faith when we see these things come to fruition. It's such a good tool for writing down prayers and keeping track of those things, because oftentimes we are just forgetful. We just forget we even prayed about something because it got answered. We forget we even asked for something because we got it. and we forget that there was a lack once, and we become entitled and ungrateful and spoiled, and it's good to not be those things. So it's really good. It keeps you humble and it keeps you grateful, and I think that is two big keys to life. Yeah, so I think it's important to take note of your life in a way that doesn't need to be monetized, like journaling, taking pictures, taking videos that are not just for like attention, like just take notes of your life. Just remember your life. I think it's just such a beautiful thing, and it can lead to a lot of fulfillment. And another reason, so this is kind of like my third reason of why you should pick up a journal, is because your friends are not there as trash cans, as emotional dumpsters. Don't emotionally dump on your friends. You might be like, why does nobody want to hang out with me? Why am I so lonely? I'm a good friend. I'm a good person. I have fun. But maybe half or most of what you talk about is your emotional problems and the things you have difficulty with. And it gets a little bit tiring for people to, it's not very good vibes if you want to say. I'm not saying that you shouldn't share your life with your loved ones and talk to people. There's duality to all of this. Your friends and your loved ones, even your spouse or your partner, is not there to be dumped on. That's not their purpose. Their purpose is to love you and to be with you and to walk hand in hand with you, not to fix all your problems and not to, be your saving grace. So don't put that on people because you will end up alone. So, and what else did I say? Let me go through this. Now, you might be wondering, like, how do I do this? Where do I start? One book that I will recommend to everybody, even if you're not an artist, is The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron. You might have seen this a bunch of times, and you might be like, why is it like, it can't be that good? It is that good. It really is that good. One of the biggest takeaways that you'll ever hear about from this book is morning pages. That would be a great way to start journaling. And get rather consistent and get into sort of flow, some sort of comfortability with journaling. I think morning pages. So you write a few pages in the morning and it's a total brain dump. You could be talking about what you're going to eat for breakfast. You could be talking about the things you need to do today. I need to get my tire fixed. I wish I could finish reading this book. Oh my gosh, I need to drink more water. You just dump on these morning pages. You fully brain dump so you can just get clear and you have a more clear sense of where you're going throughout your day, what you actually need to do, what's actually bothering you. And she writes much more eloquently about the purpose and the power of writing and keeping a journal. And so get it. It's by Julia Cameron. She's freaking awesome. And I think that would be the best way to get into journaling, because I feel like a lot of people, they just get so precious, like they get so scared to like mess up their journal or write ugly or do anything less than perfect. And I think that's, don't be like that. Don't be like that. Just do it. Just brain dump, just chicken scratch. This is mine. It's just, somebody gave me this. It's just a regular like high school notebook. And this is where I just chicken scratch. Does not matter. And you're going to get more comfortable. And and so something I did this past year was that I used to carry like 3 different journals. I used to have like one journal for like a diary, and then another journal for like notes I would take on different things in classes and stuff, and then another journal for like a prayer journal, and then another journal for like a health journal. Don't do that. This year I mix it all up into one. Oh, and I would have another for like my calendar. I would have like, what's it called? A daily planner. That never got used. I only used the calendar. So this year, I'm going to show you guys my December one because I actually am obsessed. I did my calendar in my journal. So then I would, have my journal. And then anything I would take notes on, I'd put it in here. Any ideas I had, any brainstorming I wanted to do, to just brain dump ideas for something, or like retrack my life. Sometimes we can have like, let me show you an example. Or like any pros and cons list if I'm having to make a decision, goals, new goals I'm making, like that, planning out like a year plan, or like just planning my future, trying to brainstorm some sort of graph for where my life is taking me. Just put it all in there so it's all together. I used to separate this, and it would be so annoying because it's so inconsistent, and it's just frustrating. It's not as fun to look back at. This, when you have everything in one place, it's so fun to look back at. So that is my biggest tip for anybody journaling. And something cool I did with my bullet journal, I made a whole video about it, and I can't wait to make a new one. But I did like goals here, saving money. Don't ask how much I saved. I wrote a prayer that I try to read every day, and it's specific to me, and the things I struggle with, or things I find myself just repeating in my prayer life. So yeah, so I'll read it all the time, and it's specific to me, which I love. So you can make it specific to you. Maybe like you're somebody who is like obsessed with money or something, and you can write like, I pray that money just flows through me, and that I don't feel connected to it, and that I'm able to detach myself from money and things, and that is not a part of who I am, blah, 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 blah. You can just write that in your morning prayers and then speak it over yourself, which I think is awesome. And then here I wrote a note to myself that I'm going to read at the end of the year, which is really cool. So there's a bunch of cool things you can do with a bullet journal. You can look up ideas, and it's super fun. I've been wanting to make this video, but I've also been really bad at journaling recently. So there's like that kind of battle. And this video, when I wanted to, because I'd start thinking about all the importances of journaling and all these things, and it would speak to me. Or like something I've been realizing is like I need to stop being like so self-deprecating around people I love, because that probably gets really freaking annoying. And you can be self-deprecating in your journal, and then work through that so you're not like being really annoying. And every time I say something, I'm like, oh my god, that was so embarrassing, like I just shouldn't speak about that, like that's just not cute. And they're probably gonna hate me. Okay, anyway. I'm laughing because I had one of those days last week that was just not a good one. Now, I am so grateful for where I am and who I am and all my blessings. So I'm really, truly grateful. So I'm totally good. This day was just one of those days where it was just, you're crying about something, and then like 5 things go wrong at once, and you just like crash out. It was like a crash out day. And I'm laughing, but it's really sad. But I can laugh at it now because it was so stupid of me to say to myself. But I literally told myself, I was like, I am only the sum of all my inconsistencies. And that's just not true. That is just not true, Ellen. I'm not just the sum of my inconsistencies. And I wrote, and so that was sad, and I was sad that night. And then the next day, I listened to a soundtrack that deeply inspires me, and I've listened to since I was a kid, and speaks so strongly to my soul. And, just to go off on a little art tangent, I think when we love art in such a deep way, a piece of art, like a movie or a soundtrack or a painting, whatever it is you may resonate with, or a book, or even a photo, sorry, whatever it is, I think it's important to recognize those things. They speak to you because they are a part of you. And I like to think the inverse of saying I am all my inconsistencies. I like to think that I am all the beautiful things. I am all the things that I find beautiful. And I think that's a good thing. You might be like, I find nothing beautiful. Babe, hold my hand. We need to work on that. Okay, let's get a journal and let's work through that. Okay. So I like to think that I am all the things I find beautiful. And I was only able to write, and I started to write about that after I heard this piece of music that I was like, oh my gosh, like this just, it like lights a fire inside of me to remind me that I am this beautiful thing that resonates with me, and I'm not the sum of all my inconsistencies. And that was a bit dramatic and whatever. But I'm totally not that. And I knew that day I was like, "Oh my gosh, I have to journal because I'm getting ridiculous." But no, like you can really feel like that sometimes. You can really get to a dark place and not a fun place. And I think it's important to recognize that stuff. And when something inspires you, build on it. Don't just let it pass you by. Like, I could have just listened to that and went about my day, but instead I chose to write about it and write, "Oh my gosh, like this inspires me." And I came to that revelation of, I think I am all the things I find beautiful, and I don't think I am all my inconsistencies. And I think I was being a little bit ridiculous. And yeah, I'm just gonna read actually what I wrote. So sometimes you're in a place in life where you're not like obsessed with. And after I had that really depressing day, I was like, okay, no, I cannot do this here. I cannot spiral into sadness, into depression here, because I think it's important to recognize that if sometimes you're in a spot where you're like, if I let go of myself here, I might not come back. That's important to recognize. Don't let yourself do that. So anyways, I was writing like, I cannot stop here because I will actually freak out. And I wrote, I don't know, but all I know is I cannot fall into depression here. It would kill me, figuratively speaking. I wrote, I need to keep fighting until I like my space. I like who I surround myself with. I like what I'm doing until I like my life. I have to keep believing. I have to keep praying. The inverse of all of that is death. This is quite dramatic, but it's true. If you don't believe in anything, if you don't have faith for anything, if you're not trying for anything, you're alive, but you're not living, And so, I was also writing about, maybe somebody can relate to this. Like, I know holidays are difficult for a lot of people for so many different reasons. For so many different reasons, it might be that you are experiencing grief of the loss of a loved one, or financial things, or loneliness. And so I know it's hard for everybody. And so I was writing about that. And then, how am I already at 25 minutes? And and I was remembering what the holidays are about. And they're about relationships and how you love people and how you show love. And sometimes that's not just through gifts or through doing things, or it is through doing things, but it's not through gifts or things or buying things. It's not through material things. That's the word. um and it's about like how you love people and how you show up for them. And there's more ways, and that's the most important thing during the holidays. And so anyways, I was writing about that. And so that was part of maybe why I was sad. I don't remember why I wrote about that. Anyway, um and I wrote, I am not all my inconsistencies or failures. I am the strings in a Hans Zimmer soundtrack. I am the warmth in a hug to my loved ones. I am the cold air on a sunny evening in a California winter. I am a pleasant dream. I am the sound of laughter at the dumbest things. I am all my favorite movies. I am the color of my favorite highlighters. I love who I am, so I won't settle for where I am until I love that too. So I just thought that was kind of inspiring to me, that I wrote. And journaling brought me there. And journaling, I think, can shine a light on dark moments and can just help you grow. And a lot of times you'll find the answers are just inside of you, and that it's not something that you necessarily have to go looking for, or like watch 1,000 TikToks about how to live a fulfilling life and blah 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 blah. And that it's all inside of you. And wait, I'm gonna start crying because of Stranger Things 5, episode 4. I actually did bawl my eyes out. I don't know why. It was just so good. Anyway, I'm gonna cry thinking about it. Oh my god. Anywho, I did y'all see that? I heart Jim Cam. We love Jim Cameron. I was writing about James Cameron and how much I love him, and how much I love how I thought he was so inspiring, and to I thought he was really inspiring because he was doing this interview. Quick tangent, quick James Cameron tangent. He did this interview, and I'm gonna link it below. And he was and in that interview, he touched on how he was a physics major, and then he ended up realizing he wanted to tell stories, and then he switched to an English major, and then he ended up dropping out because he was like, if I'm gonna tell stories, I have to live life, and I haven't lived life yet. So he took a bunch of blue collar jobs, and then he like learned how to do all this like engineering, what's it called, VFX, like virtual effects, or maybe it wasn't virtual then, it was just, what's it called, I forget, um special effects or whatever. And then he studied so hard, so hard, so hard, and then he could get a job, and he started surpassing those jobs, and then he's here today doing what he does best. And I just thought that was inspiring because maybe where you're at isn't at all where you want to be. Um, because, you know, sometimes I can look at those people that do these fantastical, amazing, like world changing, eventful pieces of art, Titanic, Avatar, and it's like, oh, well, they had to have been working to that goal since they were 2 years old. And it's like, no. It's like, no, he wasn't even working that until he was like, I don't know, late 20s. And it's like, no, you don't have to be working towards something since you're 2 years old for it to be world changing. So I thought that was really cool and really inspiring. And I think that's another important thing to use your journal for, is to write about what inspires you and what speaks to you as a person. Maybe you might be like, I have nothing to journal about. I haven't lived life, or I don't have these relationships. I'm really lonely, actually. And you can write about what inspires you. And I think doing that, it'll help you make things that inspire you and make things that you feel led to create. And then that will inevitably lead to you finding community and blah, blah, blah. So I think it's just so important in this freaking world of AI slop and, well, let me not get mad, of, yeah, of just us dwindling towards stupidity as a human race, and constantly looking outward for validation and appreciation and recognition. I think it's important to keep a journal and to reflect on your life, and to have that inner fulfillment, and to be grateful for the small things, even if it's a small thing. There's so many small blessings and small prayers answered that we gloss over and we forget and we become entitled to, because we don't recognize them when they happen, because we don't think about it, we don't write about it, we think about it for once, and then it's answered, and then it's over, and it's gone from our mente, it's gone from our brains. So pick up a journal in 2026. Do it without fear. Get some cool ass stickers. Oh my gosh, these stickers, wait, did I show you guys? I forget. These stickers are so freaking cute. Wait, I think I did show you guys. They're from Daiso, and I've literally had them for like a year. How cute is it? That's so cute. Merry Christmas. It's so cute. I wanted it to look really like handmade, colorful Christmas vibes. So, yes. If you are watching this and you journal, I hope this inspired. If you don't journal, I hope this inspired you to keep a journal. And if you're watching this and you do journal, please comment down below journals you like the books themselves, or pens, or places you get your cool stationery or stickers or pens or something from, or how journaling has helped you. I would really, really love that, and I hope this inspired somebody. And yes, goodbye.